from the Lakeside Newsroom of the Henrico Citizen, your hometown news source since 2001. This is the Henrico News Minute with publisher Tom Lapis.
Henrico County Public Schools reverses course on in-person learning plans amidst a busy day for COVID news in Henrico County. We'll have details on today's Henrico News Minute for Tuesday, November 17th, 2020. It's brought to you today by Henrico Area Mental Health and Commonwealth Catholic Charities.
And now for the news.
On a story that we were first to break yesterday, Henrico County Public Schools will delay a planned return to in-person learning for elementary school students who choose it until January. The announcement came just 4 days after the school board met and received an update from its health committee, which expressed at that time confidence in the original in-person timeline despite rising case counts in the region. But yesterday, the same day that Henrico tied its highest single-day count of new COVID cases during the pandemic at 81, the committee met again and expressed concern about the rising infection rates. In a letter to staffers yesterday, Superintendent Amy Cashwell wrote that the sharp increases in two of the three core metrics used by the Virginia Department of Health and School Systems to weigh in-person returns had convinced her to change course. Those two metrics are the new cases per 100,000 people during the past 14 days and the percent positivity during the same time frame. Now, at the school board meeting Thursday, officials indicated that unless both of those core metrics were in the higher or highest risk range, the school system would plan to proceed with its return to in-person learning beginning November 30th. At that time, only the total number of new cases per 100,000 people within the past 14 days was in the highest risk category. The other metric was in a moderate risk level. That it was still the case yesterday with both metrics, but Cashwell still opted to change the return date. The new schedule would place pre-K through second grade students back in the classroom January 11th and third through fifth graders back on January 14th. That's just for the students who choose to return in person. All students have the option to stay virtual. Yesterday's announcement does not impact middle or high school students who choose to return in person because they weren't scheduled to be back until early February anyway. All limited in-person learning that was scheduled during the weeks of November 30th through December 4th and January 4th through 8th also will be canceled, according to Cashwell. Such learning will take place, however, December 7th through 11th and 14th through 18th. Yesterday's announcement essentially follows a recommendation made October 22nd by Brooklyn District School Board member Christy Kinsella, who had urged the board to hold off on an in-person return until January 11th at the earliest, but her proposal at the time did not win the support of any other board members. She was the lone member that day to vote against the plan to begin returning students November 30th. Her logic at the time was that it wouldn't make sense to return students just days after Thanksgiving, a time when experts project many people still will travel and gather with family and friends, meaning that the spread of COVID could increase afterwards. Now, the student and staff intent surveys that went out earlier this month asking both groups whether they would plan to return in person or remain virtual the rest of the year still will be binding, according to Cashwell. Schools are beginning to let their families know the results of those surveys. Cashwell's announcement yesterday came just hours after the Henrico Schools central office location had to close because of a COVID case there. We were the only outlet to report that yesterday morning. The affected person was last in the building November 13th, according to Henrico Schools spokesman Andy Jenks. The building underwent a deep cleaning yesterday and is scheduled to reopen today. Also impacted yesterday, the Henrico Juvenile and Domestic Relations Court, which closed for a period of time because a member of the Henrico Commonwealth's Attorney's Office, which is located in the same building, tested positive for the virus. That was according to Henrico spokesman Steve Nakamas. Other members of the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office are now in quarantine as a result of close exposure. The JDR court is expected to resume a normal schedule today. Also yesterday, 3 more Henrico schools reported cases of COVID-19. They were Lakeside Elementary, River's Edge Elementary, and Elko Middle. All 3 schools previously had reported cases since August 12th. In total, now 73 cases have been reported at 42 Henrico schools since that date.
Every 12 minutes, a Virginian dies from an opioid overdose.
Every 12 minutes.
Opioid overdoses are on the increase in Henrico. Yes, the opioid epidemic is still impacting residents in Henrico.
But you can help.
To find out what you can do, go to bouncebackhc.com.
That's bouncebackhc.com. Knowledge is power, including learning about naloxone. That's naloxone, which can temporarily reverse the toxic effects of an opioid or heroin overdose.
Get informed, get help, save a life.
Go to bouncebackhc.com. That's bouncebackhc.com.
To equip yourself with the knowledge to help our residents and the community of Henrico County against the opioid epidemic.
Knowing what to do will allow you to be prepared to save a life. Go to bouncebackhc.com today.
That's bouncebackhc.com or call 804-727-8515.
That's 804-727-8515, directly for substance abuse services.
This message is sponsored by Henrico Area CSB Prevention Services.
A Dinwiddie County man gave new meaning to the term shotgun wedding on November 14th. He was arrested on his way to his honeymoon in Hawaii at Richmond International Airport when TSA officers detected a loaded gun in his carry-on baggage. It was a 9mm handgun loaded with 8 bullets, including one in the chamber. The man claimed that he had forgotten he had his loaded handgun with him. No word on whether his wife bought that excuse, but the TSA officers did not. He became the 18th person stopped at the checkpoint at RIC this year already. That matched the total number from 2017 as the highest in the past 5 calendar years. The typical first offense for carrying a loaded handgun into a checkpoint at an airport is $4,100, though it can go as high as almost $13,700. Radio 1 Richmond will offer holiday assistance to families through its 17th annual toy drive. The company is partnering with several local agencies, including the Henrico Police and local businesses, to distribute toys to as many children as possible. Application forms are available online only this year from anyone who is in need of toy assistance for children ages 2 to 13. Registration is now open. It closes November 29th. You can visit ipowerrichmond.com or kissrichmond.com or praiserichmond.com to find an application. If you'd like to sponsor a toy drive or adopt a family, email Stacy Trexler at strexler@radio-1one.com. Today's Henrico News Minute has been brought to you by Commonwealth Catholic Charities. Change the world for a teen who needs you. Become a foster parent. Learn about Commonwealth Catholic Charities' International Foster Care Program today. Call 804-545-5949 or visit cccofva.org to learn more.